RBR carries the full line of Catrike recumbents. As a matter of fact, we are a Catrike concept store, which means that we carry the full line of Catrike recumbents. Actually, what that means is that we keep one of each model at least in stock at all times, so that if you come to the shop, you'll know you can pick from any Catrike to try out on our lot. Let's go ahead and introduce quickly the Catrikes we have here. We have at the very far end here the Catrike Pocket, followed by the Villager, the Catrike Trail, the Catrike Road, Catrike Expedition, and Catrike 700. Let's go ahead and pull these out in front of the camera and take a closer look at each one. Since we have the Pocket out, let's take a moment and look at some of the things that are common across almost all of the Catrikes. First thing you're going to notice is that all the Catrikes are direct steer. And what this means is that where you're gripping, these handles are right at the head of that wheel pivot. Now there's all kinds of technical terms for all this stuff, but I think most people watching probably are learning about these for the first time. Let's keep it simple. So this is direct steer. The benefit of direct steer really is that you get to feel everything that's happening with your wheels. Every bump in the road, whether it's gripping or not, I mean, it's all pretty instantly communicated to you just by vibration. There are other types of trikes that are called indirect steer, and they use basically a set of rods that go back to a pivot point. The benefit of indirect steer is that you're going to get pretty much a smoother feeling ride out of it. The turns are going to feel a little smoother to you, just because it's dampening some of that vibration from your hands. I actually prefer the direct steer, just because I like to be able to feel everything that's going on. I feel like my reaction times are a little bit better. I can react to the terrain a little bit better as a result. Plus, it just makes it feel like you're going faster. And if that's a draw for you, then direct steer is a nice way to go. The nice thing about the way the grips are set up on the Catrike is that they are actually on a steering arm here. And this grip, this bar, can actually be slid up and down the length of the steering bar here. So what that means is that if your arms are longer or shorter, or if you like them more to the front or more to the back, you can not only move this front and back to suit what you like, but you can tilt this in or out depending on what level of wrist rotation you like to have as well. So there's a lot of variety there, and you can definitely get it feeling good for you. The other thing that is common across the Catrikes really is the seat. This has gone through several iterations over the years. The latest basically is mesh seat. You're going to find mesh on all the Catrikes. There's no hard shell seat option on those. A mesh seat that's reinforced at the sides here to keep it centered, that has a number of pockets on the back, and we'll show those in detail in a moment. With this particular trike, the Pocket, and with any of the Catrikes that do not have the adjustable seat back, you're going to see this triangulated space frame. And what this does is it keeps the trike light while also keeping it stiff. However, it means that you have to really like the position of the seat and the curve to it, because there's no changing it. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind when you're looking at any model of Catrike that does not have the adjustable seat back. So let's talk specifically about the Pocket. The Pocket is the Catrike model meant for shorter riders. So if you're around the 5'7", 5'6", or below range, then the Pocket is probably what you're going to want to focus on. Now, it is possible to get some of the other Catrikes down to that height range, but it usually involves cutting off part of the boom on the inside to get the cranks and the pedals closer to the frame. And that has its own disadvantages on larger trikes. Basically, as you move these pedals further in on the larger trikes, you have a higher chance of hitting your feet against the front bar here. So the Pocket is going to be your best fit if you're a shorter rider. Of course, it does have the fixed position seat, so you're going to want to try this out and make sure that it works for you. Other than that, we're looking at a 20-inch rear, 16-inch front tires. We got our SRAM X7 grip shifters. Pretty standard Catrike. This is the Catrike Villager. What's special about the Villager is that the seat is higher than any other Catrike, which makes getting in and out of it quite a bit easier for folks that might have some trouble sort of crouching down any lower. The other nice thing about the Villager is it does have the adjustable seat back, so it's unlike the Pocket in that respect. You've got a nice range of seat angles here from, let's see, let's get this in here, from about here down to here. Now that's quite the range. I mean, you really should be able to find something in your sweet spot in between there. The Villager does come stock with a rear fender. Now that's not true on all the Catrikes, but for those with the adjustable seat, that's the norm. So you're going to see that on the Villager, the Trail, and the Road. With the Villager, you're looking at 20-inch wheels all the way around. You've got SRAM X7 on the rear derailleur, grip shifters. You got your Avids on the brakes. And this is also standard on all Catrikes. I didn't mention this before, but you do have platform and SPD pedals. And that's the Villager. This is the Catrike Trail. This is the jack of all trades of the Catrike line. I've mentioned before I use my personal trail in just about any situation, and it's done well in all of them. Well, I haven't torqued cross country with it yet, but yeah, I'll try it sometime. The difference really between the Trail and the Villager is going to be your seat height. The Trail is going to sit lower, so you're going to have a little more distance sitting down in, but it does mean that you're going to be a bit more stable in the Trail because you will have the lower center of gravity. Everything else is very similar. You know, same range on the seat back, fender, SRAM X7, Avid BB7s. You know, you're good to go otherwise. But if you're looking for something that's going to be a little more stable in the turns, and you don't mind squatting down a little bit lower, then you know the Trail's your next step up from the Villager. Now the Trail and the Villager are the same price at $2,150. So here's where things really get different. This is the Catrike Road. This is sort of the touring trike of the Catrike line. What really sets it apart is that it is the only Catrike with a rear suspension. So this is new for 2012, and if you're watching this video in 2013, it's not new anymore. What can I do? But we'll get a close-up here of the suspension in action. This is going to smooth out the bumps for you. If you're riding on chip seal, you're riding on potholes, you're riding on anything where you're going to get bumps and jumps, then you're going to want to look at the Catrike Road as your solution, because it's going to take the edge off a lot of the riding. With some of the other Catrikes with the space frame, you know, you can kind of sort of feel everything. They're very stiff trikes. So if comfort is paramount for you, and you're looking at going with the stock wheels, stock tires I should say, then maybe take a look at the Road with the rear suspension and see if that works out well for you. The Road does have the adjustable seat back, so you do have that range of comfort to make it fit you. But other than that, it's just another great Catrike with rear suspension. And it's blue. This is the Catrike Expedition, and with it we move into our big wheel trikes. There are only 2 models of Catrike that have the large rear wheel. This is the first at the 26-inch. The other one will be the 700, which is next, which I bet you can't guess what size wheel that is. The Expedition is a nice long trike because of this rear wheel. It also gets you a component upgrade with the SRAM X9 rear derailleur and bar end shifters. And you're looking at Elite cranks. But moving here into the Expedition, we're back to the fixed seat. So keep that in mind. When you sit down on this trike, make sure that this fits you well, because you're going to be riding a lot of miles on it. Now, I've seen photos and videos of people taking this on actual trails as though they're going on actual expeditions, and it seems to work well enough. Certainly you're going to get a lot of mileage and a higher gearage range out of the larger rear wheel. And last but not least, we have the Catrike 700. 100% built for speed. 700C rear wheel. Most extreme recline of any of the Catrikes. Space frame for stiffness and lightness. And as low to the ground as Catrike is going to get. This is not for your rail trails. This is not for getting groceries. This is for hitting the road and going fast. So I would recommend that if you're looking at the 700, that you definitely have a need for speed, because anything less and you're just wasting it. And I don't want to see a Catrike wasted. So that's it, the 700, a beautiful machine. And if you have any difficulty getting down low and getting in and out of that reclined position, just know that this is the trike that's going to give you the most trouble. So if that's an issue, the 700 might not be for you, but for everybody else, go for it. It's choice. All right, so let's review. The Catrike Pocket is for short people. The Villager sits higher and has an adjustable seat. The Trail sits lower and has an adjustable seat. The Road has rear suspension. The Expedition has a fixed seat and a 26-inch rear. And the Catrike 700 is all about speed. Thanks for hanging out with us as we talked about the Catrikes that we have here at RBR. If any of these look interesting to you, and most of them should, they're great trikes, certainly give us a call, 814-234-4636. You know where our website is, because hopefully you're watching this on our website. But if you're not, rbr.info. Also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/recumbent. Now I have to put them all away.